Hey there, vinyl community. Mick here. Just thought I'd run through the 2025 vinyl tag, and thanks to Edwin, the pretty green vinyl guy, for creating the tag. Okay, let's get underway. First one, Osaka, Japan, Power Unit. This is my best purchase of the year. A controversial album, if you can see those song titles. I'm pretty sure this won't be available. The name of the band is Hanatarash. Number 2, 40 years later, your favourite album, 1974, Can, Soon Over Babaluma. This album is proto Fourth World, predates 90s techno, in particular with the Berlin label Chain Reaction naming itself after the 11-minute 12-second opus on this album. This album predates Fourth World music and sounds as fresh as a daisy. Next one is name an album that defines a genre. Can you get any more genre defining than free jazz by Ornette Coleman? Some of the band on the left, some of the band in the right channel. The birth of a genre in a single album. Current favourite Australian band? Well, that would be the Next. The last 2 years they produced 2 brilliant albums, and they have a lifetime of records that sit outside of that as well. This one's from 2017 and well worth getting. Unfortunately, most of their output is on CD, so hopefully with the vinyl revival, that will be resurrected one day. Okay. An artist I miss dearly, Marky Smith. Here's his solo album. Marky Smith, of course, was the lead singer of The Fall. And this is their favourite album of mine, called Dragnet. And the key track on this for me is Dice Man. And Marky Smith, up until near the end, kept keeping everything quite inventive. Here he is with Von Sudafed. And they are certainly dance music orientated. The good thing about The Fall is they have a new reissue or archival release coming out regularly, so maybe I don't really miss him. He's still there all the time. Favorite live album? Da Brothers, Ramones, It's Alive. Four sides, but nothing is left to chance. It's all go, go, go. Recorded live at the Rainbow Theatre in London on New Year's Eve, 1977. My partner leaves me and I'm depressed. Of course, it's happened to everyone in the past, and this is one that certainly me and my friends have listened to while doing that. This is the Australian band The Triffids, and this is probably their classic album, well, according to me anyway. The interesting thing about this album is some of the songs like Wide Open Road are actually about people leaving each other. In fact, Wide Open Road includes a dedication, particularly in the outro. You'll hear some spindling skeletal guitar, which is Dave McComb imitating the Go-Betweens, who he lost a girlfriend to, Grant McLennan. The other key track here is Stolen Property. It's a bit ownership based, but when you're a teenage boy, these are the kind of things that you really feel. More importantly, best pressing list. I've got a couple of these, but I always go for the hot but the UK version. So yep, definitely one for Sads. Best drummer. How about a TR-606? Yeah, this changed the way people thought of drum machines in rock. Steve Albini led Big Black and was the master at mastering this machine. And this is the good thing about this album. You can buy a TR-606 and you can bring your favourite drummer home with you. Also well loved by bands like Ortega. This is the UK version, which has the naughty word blanked out, and that's on Blast First. Okay, artist who's in a lot of bands. Well, I'm choosing Mark Arm, so let's go through Mark Arm's bands. Green River. This is a reissue that came out a little while back. It's got some extra tracks on this that have never been released before. Of course, where everybody will know Mark Arm from, which is Mudhoney, and this is his classic, or their classic, Super Fuzz Big Muff on the always great Sub Pop label. He also was in Monkey Wrench. This is on the Estrus Records label. He was also on In the Throwin' Ups, which is on Amphetamine Reptile. And finally, he was also in this lineup of Blood Loss. Mark most recently was in a lineup of the classic Australian band The Saints as their lead singer. Beatles and Stones, hey? Well, to be fair, no one really talks about that anymore, do they? Anyway, of course, my favourite album out of Beatles or Stones would be XL on Main Street. But as far as the overall product, I definitely have to say the Beatles. Of course, for this album here, Revolver, which obviously goes on to influence a whole genre of indie, and particularly in the 80s. Their solo albums. This was so inventive and sold a lot. A triple amazing album. Their partner and associates. This is Yoko Ono's Plastic Ono Band. Young Yoko. They are still maintaining their inventiveness. And this is from this year's Record Store Day, and it's George Harrison's Electric Sound. But get this, it comes as a zoetrope disc. And to prove that they are continuing to maintain their creativity, we had the Mind Games releases this year from the Lennon estate. And this is such an inventive piece of music where they've taken Mind Games and made it into a meditation piece. There is a major Mind Games box set, which is a beautiful work of art. I don't like the Beatles remotely, or John Lennon enough for remotely to buy that, but certainly can appreciate that they are still providing for their fans and people like me who are only partially like them into the future. This is a fantastic ambient album. I find a bag of dope. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to smoke it then. I'm going to have to smoke it. Revolution dub. This is what would be on. It'd be a heavy, heavy dub soundtrack. This is from Lee Perry. This is on the London-based Creole label. Favorite album from the 80s? The Cure's Pornography. I play this regularly today. I even bought their t-shirt this year. I love this album, in particular Pornography t-shirt. I love this album that much that I thought, yep, I'll grab the t-shirt, be proud to wear that. An artist who has soured me. I thought this was an interesting question because I guess we're only talking about soured, not hate or never think of again. So for that one I chose Matt Johnson and Ensoulment in particular. So Matt Johnson had various Bill Gates and COVID conspiracies. This is a really brilliant album. So I certainly don't hate Matt Johnson, but I have certainly been soured a little bit by his views when I read about them while listening to this album and trying to understand what some of this album was about. Favourite album of all time? Well, of course, it's Blue Note. But how am I going to show an album, a label that I got 200 albums of? Thought I'd show you the latest thing I bought, which is the Bobby Hutcherson Dialogue Tone Poet. Thought I'd show you the oldest Blue Note I own, which is the a 78 by Thelonious Monk of Crisscross. Interesting lineup on this one. We have Milt Jackson, Art Blakey on drums, Thelonious Monk on piano, and Sammy Shabab on alto sax. And then my favourite Blue Note of all time, which is Eric Dolphy's Out to Lunch. Fantastic album. Okay. The next one was run of great singles. Look, they asked for 3, but with the Smiths, I could actually put 6 into the pile. First up, Hand in Glove. Next up, This Charming Man. What Difference Does It Make? Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now. William It Was Really Nothing. Back with Please Please Let Me Get What I Want. Next one is William It Was Really Nothing, but get this, back with How Soon Is Now. And then How Soon Is Now, released as a 7-inch. What a fantastic lineup of 7 inches. And that's all with Morrissey, Marr, O'Rourke, Joyce lineup. When I get record store day purchase that I listen to all the time, it's this one. It's the Nuggets box set. So the Nuggets was initially released in the early 70s, as many people would be aware, but this box set includes a second edition to the franchise on vinyl. Now, the franchise has actually had a few different CD box sets, all of which I own. Children and Nuggets, Commonwealth Nuggets, and obviously the Nuggets original box set, but this is the original Nuggets, so it's been redone. And then we have some more artifacts from the original era. And as cool as it would be to own all the original singles, I can't help but think that they have been digitally cleaned up here and made more accessible by being in the album format. Real surprise that was on this is Do You Believe in Magic by the Loving Spoonful. Yeah, considering the other tracks aren't quite as big as that, and as a favourite I'd probably go Action Woman by The Litter. That's on the new one. It also comes with the obligatory posters. Fantastic booklet. Can you go past that? Okay, who would you like to be reincarnated by? Well, Serge Gainsborough, the main man. Serge had a fantastic life, living in Paris, living in London, being loved by the French community all over the world. He had a fantastic range of musical partners and girlfriends, and certainly he didn't stay in the same musical place for long. From yee pop through to reggae, through to funk, through to, I guess, soundtrack type music like this. What a fantastic life, and I'd be very happy to be reimagined as Serge Gainsbourg. Okay, lyrics, and we're looking at 3 lines. I thought I'd choose Holiday in Cambodia, just because for the vinyl community in particular. You parade your snaz, playing ethnic jazz on your 5 grand stereo, bragging that the field cold and the slums got so much soul. Gee, if that's not what the record community's like. Dead Kennedys, fantastic band. This is the 12-inch on Cherry Red. An album I never tire of. Well, I hear this album all the time, everywhere, and jazz-inspired hip-hop is my favourite kind of hip-hop, and it's a privilege that this still gets played at restaurants or wherever you could be in a public setting. So when you're having a meal, you can actually hear some decent music that you enjoy. Okay, that's the end of the record side of the vinyl tag. And now I shout out to a couple of channels I really enjoy. First, I'd like to thank WCB Jazz, who provide a fantastic overview of all the tone poets and craft releases and analog productions, reissues that are coming out. Really helps me make a decision and guides me towards the best versions available, and whether a reissue or maybe in some cases original, if I want to splash the cash, is worth it. Second one is Andy Ford. Love Andy Ford. Andy seems to have a very similar to music taste to mine and does focus on new releases, which I really enjoy. And Andy had a major nosebleed a little bit earlier in his countdown of top 20 albums for the year, and he kept soldiering through even though I can tell he'd been in hospital, so I appreciate that, Andy. Okay, thanks everyone. That's my vinyl tag. Okay, see everyone soon. Bye now.